Good morning, everybody. Um, yeah, I ended up waking up this morning after getting the other video situated and figured I'd go ahead and pull the cylinder jug on this. Um, I do have a couple things to report. So inside of the cylinder, let me get this oriented right. I don't know if there's a lot of documentation about how these look on the inside on the internet. So you get your spark plug right there, which makes this the exhaust. So those are your exhaust ports. Here, let's get a good. I'm kind of looking through the camera to do this. They're fairly square. They're actually fairly level with the transfers. So those are out here. There is something I noticed. Whatever. I don't know if this is a factory thing, but there's like this epoxy in these holes, and they plug these transfer ports. Yeah, I'm looking and I'm putting it out of view of you guys, but there's like these slugs that are inside of these ports, and they're melted over here for the transfers. But yeah, the cylinder's fairly clean. There's not a lot of scoring. There is a rust line from where I think you can see it there, where the piston's at, but this is completely usable. It did have a steel gasket. It's got like a crush rib in it, so I think there's enough room there to go with a silicone or a gasket maker or something. I'll have to check the clearance on the top of the piston to that squish band, but considering how old this saw is, I bet you it's in spec. It's probably no more. It won't be no more than 20 thou if it's there. I think it's 20 thou is what you check for squish. But yeah. So I filled this thing the other day. Let's see if I can get this situated to where you can see in here. So this does have a reed block right here. It's got a single 2-part reed, which is actually fairly nice. I don't know if it's similar to the P41, reeds that they have, because Boyson makes a set of reeds for those. So that's something I could look into, maybe get a little more performance out of it. But looking inside here, if my flashlight will work, this thing's older than I am too. Let's see. I don't know that it's going to cooperate, but here, let's see. There we go. We'll just use the phone light. You can see in here, it's not too bad. There's a little bit of corrosion, like just on the surface from where moisture got in here. I'm going to do my best to scrape out most of this, so that way it can't be freed up once the saw runs. The crankshaft and the actual rod itself are fairly good, although this one looks like it was sitting in water over here. Everything's still tight. I sprayed this up with some oil. There's a mix of trans fluid and some other stuff in here. Something that is odd is right here on the cylinder wall leading up to where the transfers are, because these are where the transfer ports sit. So this is the top of the cylinder right here with this, the screw and these two plugs, because the intake and everything sits over it. So your transfers are here, right where this bevel is, and right down here. But this side's there's texture. It's like there's a piece right here that's a part of the casting. I think you can see it. It looks like there's like little ribs to it. I have no idea what that's supposed to do. Maybe it helps atomization. I'm not too sure. That's something I've never seen before. But this other side, the wall's smooth, so I don't know. It was just something interesting I saw. As you can see on the piston, the rings are free. They move fairly easy. Here, I'll tip it to the side. They weren't really that stuck, although the top one was compressed and stuck inside the ringland. So yeah, we're gonna do our best to put these back in, and hopefully it gives us enough compression. I didn't clean anything, so you know, you still see old carbon, but it's really not dirty. So it wasn't running pig rich or super oily, or it just hasn't run in a really long time. There's that possibility too. But yeah, the surfaces are clean. I am gonna have to pull the flywheel. I did test this for spark. There's no spark, but this is a point system, so I'm sure the points are probably, they probably look like the rest of the cylinder, and they're all cruddy as hell. Worst case scenario for that, we can do a chip if we have to, if I can't find replacement parts, just to get it running. I know I have to order the Tillotson gasket kit for this. I think it's 39A, if I'm correct, but I'm going to double check that. Yeah, the saw is going to go back together today. I'm not going to let it sit like the other saw I got, the Canadian. I would like to see this one running. The intake is very nicely, well, I don't know that I'd say, hold on, nicely anymore. So you can kind of see there's some corrosion in here, but from, I guess, whatever they cast this from in the factory, it's very smooth. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of issues with this saw. But yeah, I think with new crank seals, I'm going to pull the clutch. I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to see if I can get a new sprocket. It looks like it uses just a regular, you know, splined, something you could get for any other saw. I don't know what you'd call it, but the hub here is just splined like anything else. So there is that. Actually, there's a couple things we can do while we're here. So this is the other part of the oiling system right here. I'm assuming it goes up in here and it's got this little casting groove, or it's just the line that goes up here. I don't know if the pump, the gaskets are just gone in it, or this line's blocked up. But we're about to find out. I was trying to put, like I said yesterday, transmission fluid through it, so I have that handle tank over there that's full. Let's see if anything comes out of the hole over there. Yep, that's clear. So I think it's just the pump. I know the other line's clear. I took it off. What else? What color should we repaint this? I'm thinking like a deep forest green, similar to how it comes, you know, factory, something darker. Like, here, I'll use this off spray. Something slightly darker than this green here, I think would look really nice. And then maybe I could do, you know, I could keep the factory stickering and keep it kind of a solid color, but like here I could make this a nice cream white color. See if I can find another sticker. So it'd be a really nice green with the white here. And then I could do the cover over here as well. I could do this cover in white. And then I can keep the, you know, see if I can find another sticker. If I can't, I really don't know what I'm going to do with the sticker. I might just have to kind of put like a clear tape or something over this and then paint it and then live with the little ridge that'll probably be here of the of this color. Oh yeah, air filters. I also don't know what I'm going to do about air filtration. I got this filter here, and this is what it came with, but it really needs a, you can see it's coming apart over here. It really needs a new, intake gasket, something I don't want to mess with. I don't want wood chips in this saw. The cylinder isn't scored up. It doesn't have a lot of trash through it. Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with that. What else? Over here, this heat shield is actually supposed to be attached right here where the screw is, and it's pulled through. So I don't know if that's just from vibration over time or what, but I think I'm going to try and install that screw with maybe a washer, and that should hold that tight if it doesn't have any interference with the handle. So that's that. But yeah, cylinder's actually fairly clean. The fins look nice. I am going to steam this. Another thing I noticed is, here, let me come around. If you look in the exhaust, there's these grooves right here. Let's see if I can get the camera angle. Right here. And there's what looks like a groove in the center. Like maybe you could have inserted a baffle or something in here. Yeah, right here, there's a little groove. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know what you would install in the exhaust there. But yeah, as far as the exhaust goes, I think I'm just going to get a piece of steel and make a flange. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I think I'm just going to do a nice little up and then turn down pipe. Just something kind of like this, if I can get it to work. Otherwise, it'll probably be an out and a down. So yeah, I mean, that's it so far. I haven't tried taking any of the clutch or any of the associated things off just yet, but give it a shot real fast. I think these are reverse thread. No, these are regular thread. Everything on this saw has been coming off super nice, like I said before. I'm very happy with it. I'm not upset at all. So yeah. And stuff like this, I'm going to have to make a tool for this. I'll probably get 2 bolts. Or actually what I might do is I might tap these with some threads and put some bolts in it and then turn it out that way. But I'm going to do that once the cylinder goes back on. I just wanted to get a look in here, but again, it's kind of weird to me because now I'm looking at this. You can see the fronts are chamfered, but I don't know if it's just my eyes messing with me, but the gap's tight here. It's not so tight over here. I can fit the whole pick on this side and over here, but it's super tight right here. So I don't know if the bearing is maybe worn out that this rides on. I'm sure it's probably hasn't been greased. So we're gonna go put this. I'm gonna put this on here. I'm gonna tighten this back up. Let me see if I can find a Sharpie. So I'm gonna put the. I'm going to mark it so I know which way the bolt comes off. And I don't have a Sharpie. So why would I? Alright. Let's see. Alright, let's see if we have any better luck with the flywheel side. I don't know what size these are. And everything on the saw, from what I'm seeing, has been standard, just due to the age. There's nothing metric on this whatsoever. There's a couple half-inch, or I shouldn't say half-inch, but half. It is half-inch. half sizes for things. Like these are 3/8. Again, I don't work with a lot of metric stuff. So to me, sizing everything is pretty fun. Be careful when you pry on things like this. I'm going very I'm going gentle with this. These fins, if you do any sort of prying this way, can come off. They will break, and the last thing you want to do is unbalance the saw. So if you do break one on this side, I don't know if it's advised, but I do take off the fin on the other side just to keep it balanced. It's just personal preference. I don't want it to be an issue. Yeah, rotating mass is not something you want to mess with. Even in a saw like this, you don't want it torching the bearings on the inside or anything like that. Come on. I think we're pulling the stud because this got really long-winded really fast. Yeah, we're pulling the stud. So it's got a spot on it. That's okay. It looks like someone might have had this off too, because the spring for this starter pawl is missing. Or not missing, it's not attached in the right spot. Come on now. I could have grabbed a socket. I should have grabbed a socket, but we're here. Alright. Yeah. So that's stuck in place because this is all together. Although this does give you a good idea how these work. Usually there's a fin. You would tuck the spring in here and it gives it enough tension to where it wants to grab. So it would be, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. Something like this, it wants to grab, but then at the same time as the saw spins, it kind of passes over it right here on the corner. Yeah, see this one's, yep, one size bigger. 7/16. But we can leave this on here. You see how this one's set up? So that's that. And this one's reverse thread. Most of these, the flywheels are going to have a reverse thread nut on them. Just because of the way it spins, you don't want it to loosen as you're, cutting. Do I expect this to come off? I do not. Normally you'll have to thread something in here and pull this. I do have a puller. It is keyed, but it looks like there's a lot of trash inside of this. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna give it a little spray. And then I think we're gonna let that sit for a second until I figure out what parts I'm gonna get. I know, I don't know if the flange on the exhaust is similar to other saws. Like maybe, I know, what is it, a 3071 might have a similar exhaust. But I am going to need to get a gasket for it. I would like to get a copper one maybe. We'll see how far that goes. If not, I'll probably have to get some just regular, bulk exhaust material out of the, local store or AutoZone or Pep Boys or whatever. Yeah, overall, I'm pretty pleased with this. I really like how it's set up. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was going to be a pain to take apart. 5 minutes. So unlike the PM I have over there, which it's a whole song and dance getting to the bolts and everything, this was quick. And it's definitely something I wouldn't be afraid of doing. I think, like I said, when I get more parts in and I figure out what I'm going to do with the cylinder, once I get a gasket maker for that, clean it up a bit, and I'll do some of that stuff off camera because there's no way I'm going to be able to really show that super well. Well, I mean I could, but I don't have a camera that I could mount to like my head so you could see what I was looking at yet. But yeah, I'll clean that out. I'll stick the cylinder, and then probably have to do the rope trick to get the clutch off. For those of you who don't know, that's just sticking, pull cord in, you put it through the spark plug hole, and then basically it gives the piston something to butt up against that's soft, and you can pull the rope right back out of the cylinder, and it helps you get your clutch off because it's got a lot of tension on it. You can't just spin it off because the crankshaft spins. But yeah, I'll keep disassembling this too. If I get it down far enough, I have a question for people. Does anyone know of a like a paint remover that's safe for these magnesium aluminum alloys? I don't want to hit it with like a paint stripper and then have it mess up the metal. If it's okay to use a paint stripper, that's fine. I'm not opposed. I would like the finish to come out nice. I'd like it to look really nice when it's done. So, all right, that's it for this one. Again, I'll post more for this saw. It seems very, very easy to go through, and yeah, I should have parts come in within a week or so, depending on if I can. Well, at least for the carbon, for the gasket, I should be able to get that stuff done, and then the seals. So I hope everyone has a good morning. Enjoy the rest of your day, and take care.